viewers from around the world. This show, it's called Change Makers Forum. It's an initiative of the Jacobs-Abbey Global Institute for Leadership Studies in partnership with Academy of African Scholars for Social Change. The purpose of this show is to reach out to African scholars around the globe to tap into their expertise and their knowledge, and then share it with the rest of the world, and see how useful it will be to make a social change impact. And so today, I am also excited that the individual that we are going to see on our show is somebody I admire a lot. He has a lot of experience. He has done a lot of work from across the globe, particularly in the West African region. And so just to give you a little background of our intro, Africa, as most of you know, is also always seen as a continent engulfed with so many challenges and conflicts, and nothing positive is usually said about Africa. But for some of us, we think that that's a misconception. Either people don't necessarily know Africa well, or they have not taken the time to research into the various countries in the African region. And so they form an opinion and a perception that do not necessarily define the entire continent of Africa. And we are meant to change that mindset. And so for that reason, the Jacobs-Abbey Global Institute for Leadership Study, in collaboration with the Academy of African Scholars for Social Change, and again, with support from the Girls Excellence Movement, African Hope Foundation, Girls Hope Foundation, Aspiring Leaders Club, Be Inspired Radio, and Nurses Bond collaborates to bring this program to our viewers. And so we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll introduce our guest to you, and you will love him. Stay in, and we'll get back to you.
Access to healthcare has a direct impact on the quality of life of American citizens. The book, Perception of Physician Influence on Healthcare Accessibility, answers the major questions in the healthcare system, the problems it faces, and the possible solutions available. It throws the light on accessibility to healthcare in the USA and the role physicians play in making this possible. The author, Dr. Samuel Jacobs-Abbey, is the Executive Director of the Jacobs-Abbey Global Institute for Leadership Studies. He is an expert in healthcare management and policy and specializes in global health diplomacy and public health policy. He is a frequent speaker at the United Nations. This is a must-read for all physicians seeking to make healthcare in America more accessible to their patients across the USA. If you don't like to read, you haven't found the right book yet. Get your copies of the book, Perception of Physician Influence on Healthcare Accessibility, on Amazon, Apple Bookstore, Kobo, Nook, Google Books, Publishers, and all major digital bookstores across the globe. Contact Dr. Samuel Jacobs-Abbey via Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn through the JA Global Institute. Get your copies now.
Welcome back from our commercial break. And like I said, the individual I'm about to introduce, if you have not had the opportunity of meeting him in person, you will consider him to be one of the most shy, quiet individuals but he's full of knowledge, full of energy, and he has made a lot of impact on the continent as well as globally. So Mr. Francis Acquah-Aikins Jr. Is a peace building practitioner with over 15 years of experience. Francis has expertise in the following areas: conception and development of conflict resolution and response mechanism, early warning peace education, youth peace and security, diplomacy, electoral violence prevention programming, peace building programs, and management and training experts. Now, Francis Acquah-Aikins, since September 2020, joined the German International Corporation, otherwise known as GTZ, Nigeria, as technical expert, ECOWAS conflict prevention framework under the European Union GTZ, ECOWAS Peace and Security Architecture and Operation Project. Is embedded at the Directorate of Political Affairs, ECOWAS Commission in Abuja, Nigeria. Francis also holds a master's degree in conflict, peace, and security from the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center based in Accra, and also Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, otherwise known as GIMPA. His dissertation was on the role of National Peace Council in the management of elections dispute in Ghana. Francis is fully bilingual, speaks French and English with professional experience in translation and interpretation. Francis is currently pursuing a doctoral program in political science by research. Francis, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our show today. How are you, brother?
I'm very fine, my brother. I'm very, very fine. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege.
Awesome. It's been a long time since we met in person. Of course, I know a few times you were here in the States. I remember you were at Jacobs-Abbey University. We couldn't meet because of schedule and all that, but it's good to see you. Before we dive into some interesting conversation, for the sake of those who don't know you and have not met you, I know I have introduced you briefly. Can you just give us a brief overview of who you are, so that people will just get acquainted with you?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abbey, Jacobs-Abbey. Indeed, let me say it again, it's an honor to be called to share my experience on this program. And I see it as a great privilege to be part of this process, to bring our influence to changing the world, especially Africa and West Africa in particular. So as you rightly mentioned, I've been involved in this field of peace building, or now we can say peace and security, in the last 15 years. I had no idea in terms of career path. I know I wanted to be in the diplomatic world, but in terms of which thematic area really to follow, to be able to really make an impact, I had no idea until I came across the West African Network for Peace Building, to which I owe my experience, I owe my career so far. And also through that process, I met you, Jacob, through the West Africa Youth Network and the United Network for Young Peace Builders. And so we began our own processes, and I was motivated, to really pursue this path of peace and security or peace building with a particular focus on youth, peace education. That's what I started with the West African Network for Peace Building. So I've been involved in that over the years, the last 15 years, but alongside also get into election, violence prevention, of course, some level of diplomacy in terms of even the work with elections, where you undertake shuttle diplomacy, in supporting bodies like the National Peace Council in Ghana, and also along with ECOWAS and AU with regards to the work that I've done with them on elections. So it's been quite an experience. And so this is me, a young peace builder, I can call myself. And it's been a fantastic journey to make our little impact in our own grassroots level, you know. Sometimes not necessarily at the big level, but also at our own level as youth, accompanying our leaders to really bring to bear some level of policy influencing that we hope that goes down to support peace and security. So I've been involved with that. And of course, as I mentioned, I started with the West African Network. I did about 17 years actually with them.
Wow.
As an intern in 2003, you know.
I remember very well. I remember very well.
Exactly. And just last year, September, I joined the GIZ. So the GIZ, the German International Corporation, has a project with, collaboration with the European Union, has a project with ECOWAS to implement the ECOWAS Peace and Security Architecture. And so the project is called ECOWAS Peace and Security Architecture and Operations Project. You know, that looks at the ECOWAS Peace and Security Agenda, you know, how with partners like the European Union, that the German government, how they can support West Africa through ECOWAS to implement peace and security, to bring to bear the importance of peace and security by trying to change the narrative that we can build our own environment, our own peaceful environment for the people to have a conducive environment to go about their work. And so through various thematic areas, so GIZ is supporting that. And my role with that so I don't like to use the word expert, but as an advisor, technical advisor, is to contribute to mainstreaming conflict prevention in ECOWAS work with regards to peace and security. So this is what I just joined GIZ to support that. It's just to contribute with my basic knowledge I've acquired over the years with civil society. You know, my background is civil society. So now joining international cooperation organization is also another whole experience in terms of processes, you know, the processes involved in planning, even peace building missions or planning peace building programs, you know, is a new level of experience, which I'm really proud to be associated with at that level, you know, with the ECOWAS Commission. So thank you very much.
That's an impressive background, and I am not surprised. Why should I be surprised? I've seen this work that you got yourself involved with, you know, grew, and so I'm very proud. So you talked about a regional integration and getting into the international cooperation. The question I would like to ask, so for instance, the regional economic integration has been an increasing priority among African countries in recent times. Now, take for instance, the Continental Free Trade Negotiation Forum, which aim to incorporate all the 53 countries in Africa. Now, to what extent does ECOWAS encourage political, trade, and financial integration? You know, in that concept, because there's always been a school of thought that we have institutions in name, but in practicality, nothing works. Can you go a little deeper and see how you can educate our listeners?
Thank you very much, Dr. Jacobs-Abbey. I will not claim here, with regards to the thematic you have raised, I will not claim to be an expert in economic trade or integration in the region, but at least I can share my layman's view or perspective with regards to my own observation. You know, Sammy, you know, yes, ECOWAS' main agenda actually for its establishment was regional economic integration until the Liberia War and all that, and the focus has to be diverted to ensure there is peace, because you cannot have development without peace and vice versa. So it was important to develop mechanisms to ensure a peaceful coexistence in the region so that trade can go on, so that the real agenda for regional integration, economic integration can go on. Now, there is a wrong perception that nothing is happening. At least, having been directly associated with ECOWAS in the last 3 years, both as civil society, as the one liaison in ECOWAS, and now with GIZ, you know, and probably you may be aware, Sami, is that the mechanisms are there. In fact, there's a department on trade in the commission in ECOWAS, which sees to the implementation of the policies that are deliberated or developed at the level of the summit of authority. Okay, and that department, you know, tries to coordinate the implementation of these policies at the member state level in the region. I think maybe the challenge is the advocacy or the member state taking the step to really shape up the advocacy for people to know, for citizenry in the member state to know what is going on, especially the trade associations and all that. I believe that even the trade associations in the member state know what is going on, but the ordinary citizens may not be aware. And that is why in recent time we have clashes with Ghanaian traders and Nigerian traders in Ghana.
That's right. That's right.
But there is a policy that allows for free trade, you know, among the member states. Okay, but the level of understanding of the traders, ordinary trader in Ghana, vis-a-vis their regional counterpart from other countries also trading in the region, that understanding is not there, and so they think that they are coming to take up their own trade. You see, so but the policies are there. So there's the need for more communication on these regional economic integration agenda, more advocacy for people to understand. This is an area, for instance, civil society can take up, okay, to propagate these policies, and where there are challenges, to keep on bringing it up for ECOWAS as a body to address. And I know that at least some think tanks, civil society think tanks, are doing that. Okay, so for me, I know that a lot is going on. I mean, you know that ECOWAS is the most organized or forthcoming or hardworking regional economic organization in Africa. It's one of the most organized, and so there's a lot that is going on. Maybe the challenge is implementation to the letter, you know, of those policies. But there's the need to keep on, you know, communicating with the member state to see the importance of really addressing the challenges that come with real economic integration. Where a Ghanaian can go to Sierra Leone and trade, of course, you need to fulfill the country's
local laws,
laws and all that. You need to abide by that. Okay, regional integration does not mean that you just get up and take your bag and do whatever you want. No, the law of the state must apply, and you must adhere to them. If there are challenges, then we'll bring that up and address, like is happening between Ghanaian traders and Nigerian traders. Okay, so for me, a lot is happening. So with regards to the continental free trade, of course, a lot is going on. There's a new initiative that is going on. They are still even establishing the mechanism. There have been meetings on how this can trickle down. Also, in order not to learn from the regional level, you know, policies on trade, you must continue to educate the populace, the African citizenry, what this means. You know, so whilst we are trying to really establish this one to become very functional, but so far the discussion is just at the top level. We need to bring it down for our traders, especially, to understand what it means with regards to their businesses, how indeed is going to facilitate trade amongst the member states of the continent. See, the issue is that there should be that, if you are talking about integration, then it should be real integration. And this I'm sharing as a layman, okay?
That's right. That's right.
There should be proper integration. So what is the trade going on between Nigeria and Ghana? If Ghana is producing, what is Ghana producing? Cocoa, right? And Nigeria may not be producing cocoa. What is the intertrade between these two countries, you know, that Ghana will supply to Nigeria, or Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana come together, since they are the leading producers of cocoa in the region or in the world, actually, coming together to you know, put their policies together, integrate their policies, because the policy should also be an integrated policy so that it can freely trade between the member states. That is something that I think is not happening the way we want it to be. The intertrade between the member states. So it's not just about setting up a mechanism, but we must ensure that we enforce, proper integration, that is intertrade between the member state at the regional level and also at the continental level. So taxes, so when Ghana is exporting to Nigeria, what is the level of taxation? Is it a taxation that kills local business, and therefore allows foreign business to thrive? And Sami, I know that sometimes in Ghana, sometimes foreign goods appear to be cheaper than locally.
Than the locally made produced.
Exactly. Why is this so? Our local rice and all that, some local, products that are produced appear to, because local traders do not have the support that they need to have to be able to compete with the outside, with the international market. So for me, the key issue here is that the mechanism put in place for trade, the hashtag, it is good, and we must rather encourage intertrade between the member states of the continent.
Thank you for sharing that. But and it's good you talked about intercontinental trade. But one of the things that also need attention, because human rights and civil liberties abuses stems, as we all know, stems from bad governance. And so what steps is the ECOWAS and its regional partners, including GTZ, what steps are you guys putting in place to ensure a respect for human rights and civil liberties in the West African region?
I think when you take ECOWAS, they have a number of mechanisms, put in place to ensure the human rights and all that. And of course, if you are aware, we have the protocol. First of all, the protocol relating to the mechanism for conflict prevention and management resolution and all that. And also even the protocol on good governance and democracy and good governance, the supplementary protocol in 2001. So the various mechanisms are there. I think the issue has been enforcement, of this mechanism at the member state level. Now, what partners like us, GIZ, are doing is to support the implementation of this mechanism, is to do advocacy for the member state to realize the importance of ensuring human rights. Because you see, you can't even go and talk about peace and security when there is no human rights.
Human rights, that's right.
There's no peace without justice, and no justice without peace. So these two things, justice and peace, human rights, go hand in hand. So I think it's about enforcement. The ECOWAS Commission continue to advocate, call on member states to enforce it. And there are challenges, because the ECOWAS Commission itself is a body instituted by the member state. And so sometimes they are also caught up in enforcing the laws or the protocols. These are challenges. So that is where, for me, it's always important that is where civil society comes in, and not just because I have a civil society background, but it's because of the liberty with which that civil society can quickly take steps without any bureaucratic, without any bureaucratic challenges or bottlenecks. They can go out there and even propagate some of these protocols. But the onus lies on the member state to ensure freedom of expression, freedom of movement, and all those issues related to human rights that create a conducive environment for the citizenry to go about their duties without fear or favor. I think there's a need for more enforcement on the member states. And ECOWAS cannot do that alone. And sometimes ECOWAS counts a lot on civil society to do that. But also the key issue is that civil society, in doing that, should not be confrontational. I know that issues of human rights are very delicate. Yes, and so when you rise to talk about it, government sees you as an opposition. Government sees you as confrontational. So what you must do is to raise the issues to policy platforms. Some of these think tanks, the work they do in terms of research, bring it up and support the process than always being on the streets, which That's eventually right. do not address the core issues. Yeah, you can be on the street as far as it is non-violence. That is allowed in most of our laws. Okay, but I think enforcement for me is one of the key areas that is not adequately undertaken. Yeah.
Sounds good. Wow. Listeners, I told you that Francis Acquah Jr. It has a deeper understanding and appreciation of regional integration issues, and I'm sure you could all attest to that. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I will walk back into his time as a youth advocate and a youth leader, and the peace processes that he was involved in as a young person, which has led him to this side. So stay in, and we'll come back shortly after this.
Hello, welcome to Jacobs-Abbey Global Institute for Leadership Studies, a research, teaching, training, and leadership institute that critically provides strategic transformational thinking to leaders and students with the opportunity to develop and create lasting impact in their institutions. Championed by a world-class faculty, one-on-one executive coaching, and peer learning, our programs are offered both online and in cohort sessions. Jacobs-Abbey Global Institute for Leadership Studies partners with academic institutions, civil society organizations, local communities looking to accelerate the impact of their leaders, more effectively engage teams, and build inclusive cultures of employee engagement and performance. We offer courses such as certificate, diploma, and advanced diploma in counseling psychology, marriage counseling, applied psychology, child mental health, conflict and peace studies, international human rights law, security and governance, and in gender studies. For enrollment, email enroll@jaglobalinstitute.org or visit us online at jaglobalinstitute.org.
Take this opportunity to welcome all of you back to our show, Change Makers Forum. And as I mentioned from the beginning of the program, the Change Makers Forum is an initiative of the Jacobs-Abbey Global Institute for Leadership Studies in partnership with Academy of African Scholars for Social Change. This is a platform where scholars come together and discuss issues pertaining the continents, irrespective of which continent you are resided in. You have an opportunity to discuss things that will grow those continents. So once again, I want to welcome all of you, and I want to welcome you back, Mr. Francis Acquah-AIKINS, to our show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you were involved in the West Africa Youth Network and other regional programs. Can you tell us more about what got you involved? And if I may, let me also ask, does that effort actually made an impact on you in your career path as you have now exceeded that level into becoming an international expert on the issue of conflict and peace building, particularly working for GTZ?
Thank you very much. So I mean, now GTZ is now GIZ, you know.
Oh, GIZ.
Yes.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You know, my involvement with the youth, I think, started with when I entered into this field through WANEP, the West African Network for Peace Building, working on the youth and the peace education program. And that program was to build the capacity of young children, I mean, from even kindergarten all the way to tertiary level. to build their capacity in peace, to be peace-building advocates or activists. And so that got me particularly interested. And along the line, I met you, Sami, and other colleagues like Rashid Zubeiru, Atabeka, Richelieu, Allison, all these wonderful youth who are now doing fantastic work. And so that meeting you guys in a network of youth motivated me the more to actually deepen or seek to deepen my understanding in this whole process of youth in peace building. And so I learned a lot through our various workshops and meetings across the region. We were in Sierra Leone, I think in Ghana as well, and other countries. And that really went on. And I remember you also even initiated a platform or a unit in Accra that we were trying to establish until you moved. But the vision kept on. And today, I'm seeing the work we are doing. That means the vision is being implemented. And so for me, and that this motivation has kept some of us going. And we have kept with, even now, I'm still working on youth peace and security. One of my areas with the GIZ on the ECOWAS program is youth peace and security, trying to implement the UN Security Council Resolution 2250 and its accompanying protocols, try to bring down this policy to the grassroots and enhance youth participation in peace and security in West Africa. And of course, and my involvement in this area was also to develop curriculum, especially with WANEP, to develop curriculum on peace education, together with the collaboration with the various ministries of education in the ECOWAS region, as practical tools to support this advocacy for youth involvement in or engagement in peace building in the region. And this has been very inspiring and has been very motivating to keep up the work, because there's a lot, I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done, despite all that we have done in the last 15 years, 20 years, you know. And you know that the face of conflict is changing in West Africa. I mean, violent extremism. And you need to change policies. You need to review even your approach to peace and security generally, and also how you transform that to youth, you know, in order to know what exactly is the need for youth. How do you bring youth on board? But also, one thing that I think we are overlooking is that we keep saying youth engagement in youth peace and security, but what has been done so far, we don't appear to bring that up. Oh, this is what the youth has achieved. Because sometimes we present as if there's no engagement at all, there's no involvement at all of youth in these areas, but there's a lot that has been done. And as you may be aware, currently, even through the implementation of the UN Security Council Resolution 2250 and its accompanying protocols, the member states are supposed to be developing or are developing national action plans to guide the participation, the involvement of youth in youth peace and security. And it's part of the work that we are doing, even at the level of our support to ECOWAS in youth peace and security, to develop a regional framework on the implementation of the UN Security Council 2250, you know. And so for me, it's been a long journey, but what lies ahead is even longer. So we need to be steadfast, we need to stay strong, but also build the capacity of those behind us to continue. And that's why we keep on doing this work. We keep on getting involved. As we grow old, we keep on getting involved still with the youth. We develop the mechanism. Developing the mechanism is important, you know. So even when at the UN level, these protocols, these resolutions are developed, the good thing nowadays is that the regions also take it up and adapt it to their context, you know, like we are now doing in West Africa, where most organizations, at least civil society, like WANEP, international cooperation like GIZ and all that, thematizing these areas like youth, peace, and security. That's the focus, so that you keep on, that is adaptation of these protocols in your context, and develop the various mechanisms in your context to be able to support the youth in various areas. And you know, when you talk about that, it's not just peace and security, but also about youth empowerment in development, of course, in peace and in development, in trade. And I know that the secretariat I'm working with, the ECOWAS Conflict Prevention Framework secretariat that I'm working with, is one of the workshops that was done, I think, somewhere last year, 2019, was to bring together the youth that are into these startups. You know, because when the youth are empowered, there's no time to go and cause conflict here and there, or to be recruited. You see, but most times it's in the urban areas that the youth get that opportunity. What about the rural areas? How do we get there is also one of the challenges, because that is where the youth can easily be recruited. Even in the urban areas, of course, those who come for greener pastures and do not get become easy resources for the proponent of violent extremism and terrorism. So I think there's a lot more to do. So having been involved in this youth peace activism has been a fulfilling journey, and we are keeping up. We are still holding the torch, like you are doing on the other side, and still connecting with us to share this experience.
So the world looked at Africa from a different lens. I don't know why, and you saw that from my preamble. It is perceived as the most unstable continent. It is engulfed with a lot of conflicts, political instabilities. In spite of all the natural resources, money, and everything, we still have a lot of people suffering. And the question that bothers my mind is that political leaders who are even heading these countries, majority of them even went to Ivy League schools in the US, UK. They learned a lot of governance. And so the question to you is, what is wrong with Africa? And why is it that we are unable to manage all these resources that God has placed in the continent?
So, I mean, this is a difficult question. I don't know whether I have the right. I don't know whether I have the right. Will have the right answer, unless to share my own perspective as usual.
Yeah, exactly. Your perspective is important.
And we know we say Africa's problem is bad governance, bad leadership. Bad governance, bad leadership. Yes, that is true. But maybe the world should leave us alone. Manage our business. You know, maybe if we are left alone to manage our business, maybe there will be a difference. But in this global village, the world cannot leave us alone, unfortunately. So the partnership should be true partnership. Economic partnership should be true partnership. Why? One thing I do not understand as an ordinary citizen is where China will consider Africa as one country and call everybody, but calls everybody, all our leaders to go. And I am not sure whether these leaders go there with one agenda. It's probably, so Rwanda will go and talk their own matter, as we say, Ghana will go and talk their own matter, and so on and so forth. What is the agenda for Africa? What is the agenda for African unity? What does it mean to us? I said in the earlier discussion that what is Ghana and Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, even West Africa, for that as one body? What is the agenda? We are trying to have one common currency since we have not succeeded, you know. So what is it that is wrong? But we shouldn't also lose sight of the fact that we have always been talking about our problems. Let's also talk about the successes, irrespective of how little they are. Because you said conflicts here and there. Yes, because sometimes conflict sells. And so we look at that. That's what is always, especially the international media, is always showing. But Sami, you live in Africa, you live in Ghana and some other countries. Yes, and you are not living in the West. You see the difference. It's clear, yes, but there's also a lot that is happening. Sometimes there's even the impression that you cannot even travel to the country of Nigeria. I've been here for almost 3 years. Freedom of movement. Yes, there are security issues, right? But sometimes the impression is given as if, when I say I'm living in Nigeria, I say, how come you are living in Nigeria? Are you safe this and I go about my life? Okay, yes, you should be careful. That's why when you live in Ghana, you should also be careful.
Careful, that's
okay,
right.
So let's also talk
even
about
in the United States, you still have to be careful.
Yes. So let's also talk about our successes irrespective of the challenges. Sometimes the challenges appear to surmount our successes, but we should still bring that up. And when you do that, we also bring our leaders we need to demand more accountability from our leaders.
So, but the question
of our leaders in leadership, we need to also look at that.
But the question one way ask, Francis, is that whose responsibility is it to talk about the successes of Africa? Because the ordinary individual on the street who is trying to survive doesn't have time to talk about the successes. So if it is the responsibility of government and through the regional integration to project Africa the way it ought to be, isn't that the responsibility of government and the regional leaders to have a proper PR mechanism to change the narrative?
Yes, they have the first call of responsibility or the first call to duty to do that. So that is it. They need to do that. They are the first responsible entities to do that. But also, we as citizens, I take the opportunity to talk about the good side of Africa. Mm-hmm. When I travel out there to share the experience of our work, I do that. This platform we have is a fantastic platform to also do
that. That's right.
Calling someone like me, an ordinary citizen, youth peace activist, and I'm telling my side of the story. Okay, so let's keep on with this, irrespective of how minimal you think it will be or it is. I think the more we do it, it will get there. And when the West or the world also comes to Africa, they see that why are they running to Africa? Why is China in Africa? Why is the US in Africa? Why is Europe keep coming to Africa? That's what I talk about, the partnership to be a real partnership. So we all benefit equally. Okay. Of course, our leaders must be the first line of responsibility, the first call to propagate our successes. I think when they go out there, they do, but they talk more about problems than they beg more than talking about our successes. So that is the unfortunate thing. But it's up to us as citizens to do that. The ordinary citizen on the street is hustling, so he doesn't even have time to listen.
That's right.
We still have to do that. But what is important is also the fact that we should, people are feeling the issues, the heat, because the successes are not adequately reflecting in our pockets. Let me use the normal language. It's not reflecting in our pockets. When our government say, oh, we have decreased taxes, we have done that, we don't see it in the cost of water. We don't see it in the cost of electricity. Electricity is still high. So the problem is the basic amenities, the basic things, daily lives, things that make our life easy are rather difficult to come by. And so that is what makes it difficult to even talk about our successes. So when I'm talking about is asking, but do you have stable electricity? Do you have potable water? And so you are stuck. You see, that's the problem.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
So that appears that the development is just at the top level. It's not trickling down to the pockets of the ordinary citizens. That is what we have. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Francis, for sharing this insight with us. We'll take our final commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask Francis if Africa indeed is ready for United States of Africa.
Haja Kundabantu, and I'm the founder and CEO of African Girls Foundation. African Girls Foundation exists to bring change by supplying girls with a free education. Our mission is to provide education to as many girls as possible, for we believe that by educating these girls, education will not only benefit them, but it also benefit their nations, their communities, and their families.
I am Sandrine Muera. I am in class 8. I come from a family of 9 members from DRC Congo. That is my parents and 7 siblings. We are 5 girls and 2 boys. I would like to appreciate the African Girls of Hope Foundation for the support you have given me. You have paid my fees, and my hopes of a brighter future is guaranteed. I'm confident that my goals of becoming a doctor will one day come true.
Many of our girls are orphaned by war. These are the girls that have gone through different atrocities, different wars, and different circumstances in their lives.
I'm in class 7. I come from a family of 8 members, 6 girls and 2 parents. My hometown is in Bungoma, one of the most remote areas in the country. I was taken by my aunt who took me when I was young, and she came to live with me here in Nairobi at her place to support me because my parents were having challenges in paying fees. Most of the time I was sent home because of fees. When I grow up, I would like to be a journalist. I appreciate African Girls Foundation for support, and I promise to work extra hard as a way of showing my appreciation and earn good results. Thank you very much, and may God bless you and bless the work of your hands as you continue helping girls to achieve their goals and pursue their dreams.
These girls have gone through a lot of difficulties, but as an organization, we believe that we can bring hope and bring smiles back to their faces. Join us, support us, and let's help the most vulnerable in our community. God bless you.
These girls need our help. We need to support as many girls as possible. That's our mission. But we can do it by ourselves. We need your help. We need to stand together and give hope to these girls. Let's stand together as we transform the lives of these vulnerable girls and young women who are the future generation of our nations.
To our show, Changemakers Forum, and I'm still here with Mr. Francis ACQUAH-AIKINS, who is a technical expert at the German International Corporation. It's currently based in Abuja, Nigeria. So, Francis,
Yes.
In our wrap-up session, let me ask you, do you think that Africa is ready for United States of Africa? I said this because in 2001, I happened to be in Ghana, and I was at the International Conference Center where heads of states of Africa came together with a proposed agenda of becoming a United States of Africa. And I still recall how brother Muhammad Gaddafi of blessed memory walked out of the room with the disappointment. And I recall how Yoweri Museveni from Uganda decided that it is not time for the United States of Africa. And I still recall the then president of Senegal, Abdoulaye Diop, came to that meeting with a pen ready to sign the charter. And from 2001 to now, nothing has happened. Do you think Africa is ready for the United States of Africa?
My simple answer is no.
And why?
No, because look at the regional economic bodies, how ready or how have they managed the respective regional integration? If at that level we are finding it difficult to have common currency or integrating our trade policies, movement of the citizens across the borders, you can't talk about the continental level. So I do not think, as we are speaking, I do not think we are ready. Until we succeed in really having a common trade. And I keep saying that common trade is about where Nigeria can trade with Ghana freely, where Ghana can trade with Mali freely, where Ghana can trade with Ethiopia freely. Do we have a common telecommunication? No. You have a common, even transport. We have been trying to have this train corridor, West Africa. Yeah. We have been trying since. It's not completed. Eastern corridor, I mean, as far as Ghana is concerned, you know, there's supposed to be a road from Togo, I mean, from Nigeria all the way to Cote d'Ivoire. Train. So it's going to take a long time. It may happen, probably not in our life, maybe not in our lifetime, I think. So it also depends on what you mean by even United States of Africa. Is it with one president, one common president, like the federal system you have in America? What kind of system do we want? What kind of system do you want the United States of Africa? What system of governance are we looking at? So all these issues, that is why the emphasis now is more about trade integration, economic integration, movement of people. So you see that that's the narrative. But in terms of having that federal system of having a true unity, irrespective, if it's in the form of the United States of America, you have governors and all that, right? Even Nigeria, at the level of Nigeria, Nigeria is a federal system, right? You have governors more or less autonomous, you know, with their own resources here and there, but still dependent on the federal government. Yeah, that arrangement is there. Is that what we want? What form of unity are we talking about? So until we get those issues clear in terms of what we want, when you say United States of Africa, until we get that direction clear, I don't think that is possible. So we need to define what kind of a United States of Africa we want. What is the Africa that we want? We need to define that. Until then, I don't think the kind of unity we are talking about is possible. Not in our lifetime, maybe. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Francis Acquah-Aikins, and thank you, listeners from around the world who continue to watch our show. Like I mentioned again earlier on, these episodes are meant to bring the other aspects of unknown individuals who are making social change impact from around the world. And so as you receive these videos, share them around the world, forward it to your friends, and you never know the impact you will be making. Once again, my name is Dr. Samuel Jacobs-Abbey, and it's my pleasure to be your host. Once again, thank you, Mr. Francis Acquah-Aikins, for your time with us on Changemakers Forum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abbey. Thank you so much. Really, really a great pleasure and a privilege to have been part of this program. Thank you, and all the best. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, and I hope that you continue to bring on board other youths from the grassroots to also share the real change that is happening at the grassroots level, and you'll be amazed what is happening. I said that African unity, the United States may not be possible, but it could be possible at the community level in our own way in terms of incapacitating ourselves for survival.
Wow. Thank you once again, and thank you.